Has anybody ever told you not to worry about something, forget about something, and stop thinking about something? Or you told somebody that? Well, you got to stop doing that. It doesn't work and it often makes things worse. All right. I'm Dr. Cassidy Preston, and I got a bone to pick today and going into why we need to stop telling people and stop trying to forget about things. It's not effective advice. It doesn't help and it often hurts. Right. My favorite way to, boil this down is if I said, don't think of a pink elephant, you think of a pink elephant. And so what we need to learn and understand is that our thoughts and emotions, we don't have full control of them. It's not like we can just turn our brain off or forget about something or clear our memory and erase it. That's not a real thing, right? If you've seen the movie The Men in the Black, it's a fake movie and it's not real, and they do erase people's memory. But maybe that's where this thought came from, but it's such common advice. And we see a lot of players and athletes really struggling with their mental game because of this advice, and they're just trying to overly control. So this is the first key lesson that I want to make sure you understand and take away, is that you don't have full control of your thoughts and emotions. It's not like there's just flipping switches on and off and pushing things and throwing ideas away and just go and park it. And one of the things that's common in sports psychology that I don't like is this concept of thought stopping. Like you're just going to stop the thought. Oh, I'm just going to stop it. And that it's just so easy to control your thoughts. It doesn't make sense, right? Yet it's what people say. So what can we do? Because you can manage our thoughts and emotions, and we can move past things. We don't have to stay focused and obsess and worry about outcomes and mistakes and what other people think. And so what does work is this management techniques, and I'm going to get into a couple of big things, but I want you to understand that it's about embracing the thoughts, embracing the emotions that you have, and not necessarily just like, oh, just throwing them away and disregarding them that way. So that's the first thing. And then there's two key points to how we can embrace these emotions and embrace these thoughts. And what I want to highlight before getting into that is, like, think of these emotions as like a pink elephant, right? They're coming into your focus and awareness. And a lot of us are trying to avoid it or forget about it, and it's still there. And so instead, you have to learn to embrace it, understand it, cradle it, right? Let it calm down. Like let's address the pink elephant in the room. And then by doing that, it can float away. It can move. We can move past it. We can let it go. It's not gone forever. It can simply come back if we don't deal with it properly, or we come back and we bring it back in, or something happens. But that's the concept of managing your thoughts or your emotions and distractions versus trying to control it and shut it off. Right? The latter doesn't work. So there's two big points that I said I wanted to highlight here that's going to help us embrace that pink elephant. One is about understanding. And it's really important to understand why we have these thoughts. Why do we have emotions? Where the heck are they coming from and what are they? And the simple answer to that is they're based on our values. They're based on what's meaningful to us. And often these emotions can be very polarized, which means we get elated or we get deflated. And if you're getting polarized and having this emotional roller coaster, that's a lot of it can be based on our society that teaches us that winning's everything and failure's awful, right? And so we have these emotional charges of all high and all low and all good and all bad. And so then we have these emotions of fear about what's bad and elated about what's good. And so instead we can learn to have perspective and understand that these emotions are just based off a trigger, understand that maybe we're subordinating to what people have taught us, that failure is such a bad thing and you have to succeed or you're a failure. Like, two players train real hard, right? And then they go and they compete against each other, or two teams. And they're both trained really hard. They're well prepared. They're focused. They play their best. One team wins, one team loses. Does that mean one team's a bunch of losers and it was all just a waste? No, like, it's about doing your best, and you learn and you grow, and then you get back after it the next year in the next game. And likewise, think of it this way: if you won, does that mean, oh, now I've succeeded at life and now I'm a winner forever? No, you got to win the next year in the next game. So it's important to keep perspective and understand that it's not all about winning and losing, right? Obviously, we want to win and we don't want to lose, but we want to understand and have perspective. And I'll be doing other videos later that kind of break down the difference in how we can clear these emotional charges so that we understand these emotions and we get better at managing our emotions and our thoughts. So if I haven't said so already, I'm going to give you the prompt. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, I'm growing this YouTube channel. We're doing lots of videos like this. And so if you subscribe, you'll make sure you'll get more of the upcoming videos. Now, the last part that really then, clinches this deal on being able to move past and manage our thoughts and emotions instead of just forget about them is the word that I like to call acceptance, right? And this comes from a bunch of great literature on acceptance commitment theory. And this whole concept is, when there's things outside of your control or something happens, we have to be willing to accept it and let it go. And think of it this way, often when something happens that's frustrating for you or disappointing or distracting, it feels unacceptable. And so therefore we have a hard time being willing to accept it. But it doesn't mean you can't accept it. It's just a willingness problem. Am I willing to accept it? And that's when we go back to the understanding part. If you can have a better understanding of the situation and your emotions, then you can be more willing to accept your emotions. You're human. You're going to feel this way. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. And by accepting it and understanding it, now we're fully embracing the elephant and we can move past it and let it go. So this is what actually works. And I liked, and this ties into our whole reset routine concept. We'll have another video that breaks that down and that we go into in our courses and our one-on-one work. But the point that I want to highlight here is when you truly accept something, then you move past it. You don't forget about it. It's not like, oh yeah, we've erased it from our memories now, but you actually will stop focusing on it and thinking about it. It's not like we parked it. It's not like we did thought stopping and turned it off, but instead we had an awareness, an acknowledgement, an understanding of what's going on with our situation, what's our thoughts and emotions that's driven by our values. And then based on that, we can understand and accept and move past and clear our mind and deal with the distractions and the feelings and the emotions and the triggers. And therefore, because we dealt with it and we embraced it and we moved past it, we have a clear mind, we can focus on what we do want to do. And so that's the helpful advice, not the short and sweet of forget about it, stop doing it, don't worry about it. That shit is bullshit. Okay, so I highly encourage you, focus on more understanding, accepting, managing your thoughts and emotions, being aware of them. And so that way you can now deal with them appropriately and move past them so that they don't have to weigh you down and make things worse when you try to stop thinking about it, right? Because then you keep thinking about it and it goes into a downward spiral. All right, so again, make sure to comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and we'll send you some links to some of our programs, etc., down in the description below. Awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.